She was a guest speaker at our Bible study, an elegant woman with empathetic eyes and a graceful demeanor, and a Southern accent that lilted words and spoke soft convictions with every truth that she gave. Her words were full of authority and grace, with understanding and yearning. I sat unable to blink, completely mesmerized by every word that came out of her mouth. And she shared about Jesus, her Jesus, and how he had utterly and completely changed her. For the next several days, I struggled to carry my heavy heart with those sad and sorry bones that I was walking around with. I'd shuffle along throughout the day, and she would appear in my thoughts, blowing across my mind like a gentle breeze. I needed something, that much I knew. And suddenly, one day, I realized I needed her. It's almost fall morning with a cup of coffee in my hands, I asked around for her number and I called her. I stumbled over my words until I could finally, coherently state, I need a mentor. Desperately and immediately need a mentor. Okay, she replied with that Southern lilt. Let's meet for lunch and we'll see what God has to say about this. Over squash souffle and sweet tea with extra ice, she told me she had been praying and that God had told her very clearly, yes, you should mentor this lost and desperate girl, although I probably made up that last part. We developed a schedule and a plan and a list of things that I needed guidance with. She left with a very long list. For the next year, I met with her every month in her home and we discussed life and God and husbands and children and ministry. She taught me how to pray and how to read the Bible, how to seek counsel and how to trust God with every fiber of my being. She prayed with me and over me. She cried with me, those empathetic eyes, remembering her own journey and struggle. With graceful demeanor, she knew exactly where I was, never ever judging, just knowing. In that house and on that couch, with throw pillows surrounding us, the rose garden looming outside of us, a King Charles Spaniel resting on a pillow between us, and sweet tea on the coffee table beside us, she walked me through the valley of the shadow of death, never once letting go of my hand as we journeyed together. She was the epitome of a Titus 2 woman, teaching me what is good, showing me how to be pure, giving me a good example of how to love my husband and my children and my friends and my family and how to do my job with excellence. In that house and on that couch, I sat mesmerized, unable to blink, as I soaked in everything that she taught me, and she shared more about her Jesus and how he had utterly and completely changed her. Mentorship should not be optional in life. Whether you're trying to grow a career, your spiritual life, a marriage, a family, a business, any expert you listen to, any book you'll read will tell you the importance of apprenticeship, of having a mentor to come along under to learn from. But mentors don't just show up on your doorstep, peering in the windows and proclaiming to you, you obviously need me. Rather, they show up in the quiet and normal everyday places. They're people that you work with, interact with, go to church with, socialize with. They're the people with empathetic eyes and a graceful demeanor. And instead of assuming pridefully that they can help you, they go about the business of doing what God has called them to do exactly where they are, until they get a phone call from a lost and desperate soul, desperately needing their help. And they pray and they ask what God says about it. And when it's time, they nod and they say, yes, I should mentor you. Then you do life together, us, on a couch with pillows and napping dogs and sweet tea. And it is good. In the Bible, James reminds us that we just need to ask for what we need. Chapter 1, verse 5 says, if you don't have all the wisdom needed for this journey, then all you have to do is ask God for it, and God will grant you all that you need. He gives lavishly and never ever scolds you for asking. Do you need wisdom? Do you need a mentor to walk alongside you through the valley? Someone to remind you not to set up camp there, but to keep walking through? Admit you can't do it alone and find someone and just ask. And watch as Jesus, their Jesus, utterly and completely changes you.